Some stories aren't just stories. They're warnings, they're truths people never had the courage to tell. This is one of those stories. When my twin sister was being silently destroyed behind closed doors, I didn't just listen. I became her. And I made him regret every bruise he ever left. This is our story. And he never saw any of it coming. It was 11:45 p.m. when my world flipped. I was in bed, a t-shirt, my favorite pastel socks, half asleep, half dreaming. And then came Daniel's voice, loud enough to wake the neighbors, sharp enough to slice through the dark. Get up, get out. I blinked through hallway light. What? I managed. He stood by the bedroom door, red-faced, fists trembling. My pillow was in one hand, my overnight bag halfway zipped in the other. You heard me. Get out. Go to your family. This house is mine now. I didn't scream. I didn't argue. Some pain doesn't come with shock. It just lands like it's been coming for years. He shoved my bag at me, yanked my robe from the chair, and threw open the door. That's how I ended up outside, in slippers, nightgown clinging to my legs. Mid-March wind whipped my breath away. In one hand, I held my phone. In the other, the pieces of a marriage I thought I built right. My parents live 2 states away. My sister works night rotation. I had nowhere to go. And then, the porch light next door clicked on. Mrs. Evans, 62, sharp as a blade in church gloves. She opened her door silently and motioned me over. Not a word. She saw the tears. She saw the robe. She knew. As I stepped inside her warm kitchen, shaking, she handed me a blanket. I knew he was no good, she whispered. I collapsed onto her couch, covering my face. Later that night, she brewed chamomile, sat beside me, and told me what she'd seen over the years, the texts from other women. One even showed up while I was at work. The packages labeled private. The unregistered second phone. She said something I won't forget. You taught him how to treat you by forgiving him the first time, then the 21st. I didn't sleep that night, but I rested in a way I hadn't in months. Because the lie had finally burned its disguise. Because someone else had seen what I had ignored. The worst part, I wasn't surprised. I was just tired. The next morning, I didn't go to my mother. I didn't cry on my sister's couch. I sat with Mrs. Evans in her tiny kitchen, sipping tea from a flower mug she said her daughter gifted her years ago. I looked around at the pictures on her wall, frames that held people who stood by her, not people who pushed her out into the cold. For the first time in a long time, I felt something I forgot I was allowed to feel. Safe. I didn't know what I was going to do yet. But whatever it was, it wouldn't be inside that house again. The day after felt like time slowed down just for me. I listened to the birds outside. I remembered how long it had been since I heard birds instead of shouting, or half-hearted apologies echoing down the hall. Mrs. Evans insisted I stay another night. She brought out a notebook and pen and said, "Don't plan your future yet. Just write down everything, what he took, what he owes, and what you no longer want to carry." So I did. 3 pages. Rent I helped pay. Loans he said we'd pay off together. Packages in my name, but none ever for me. I realized I had spent the last 6 years tiptoeing around Daniel's moods and excuses. And suddenly, now that he was gone, so was the noise in my head. I started looking at things more clearly. Remember the second phone. Apparently, he kept it in the garage toolbox. Mrs. Evans' husband used to be a mechanic. He joked once with Daniel and said, "I always keep my secrets in the toolbox." Who knew Daniel would take that literally? Mrs. Evans went over the next evening, left her coat behind on accident, came back giggling, with an old Google Pixel phone in her bag. "Found it," she said. I didn't even have the energy to be surprised anymore. We charged it with one of her old cables, and when it powered on, it had no lock. He was careful with passwords, but not with patterns. 3 swipes and there it was. Photos. Not of me. Not even of us. Marie. A coworker I thought was just a name. Her hand, her smile, his name in her inbox while I was still brushing his suits before interviews. Videos, one on Valentine's Day. I remember that day. He said he was working late. I spent it alone, made pasta, lit a candle, waited. He came home smelling like new cologne. Now I knew why. It wasn't new, it was hers. I didn't destroy the phone. I made a copy, sent it to my email, created a backup folder no one could touch. I didn't want revenge in the burn his stuff kind of way. No. I wanted his downfall to feel exactly like mine did, slow, cold, and real. I emailed myself a copy of our lease, bank transactions tied to his name, double-signed tax returns, and the laughable prenup he once waved as a joke after wine. He signed it digitally, forgetting to renew before our income doubled. And that, my friend, meant I had a case, and a paper trail that painted the real picture. I filed quiet paperwork, legal, clean. Public. When the lawyer asked me what outcome I wanted, I didn't flinch. I want my peace, and I want the world to see I didn't walk away. He pushed me, and I made sure he remembered which door. His new girlfriend. She messaged me. Said he told her I left, emotionally unstable. I sent her screenshots. No insults. No commentary. Just files. She stopped replying. Blocked him the same night. That silence. Better than any slap I could have dreamt of. See, the thing about men like Daniel is they don't expect you to become the storm. They think you'll always be the shelter. But every shelter has a boundary. And every woman has a breaking point. Mine just came in slippers and a nightgown. Daniel didn't call me the day the papers hit his inbox. He didn't call the next day either. But I know he read them within 5 minutes. One thing about him, he never ignored legal threats. He just never thought I'd be the one behind them. By the end of the week, I had moved everything I needed out through legal channels. Fast, quiet final. Mrs. Evans, she was my witness on the affidavit. And the last person to see him try to chase me down the sidewalk. He asked if we could press pause. Not on the paperwork, on the damage. Said this wasn't worth ruining us. Us. There was no us when you slammed the door behind me and opened your world to someone else. He said Marie was gone, said he made a mistake. You know what I told him? Mistakes are when you spill tea, not when you throw away your wife. He blinked. I did not. The day the court assigned asset reallocation. His face sank. Turns out he'd been listing me as silent co-owner of a small investment property for tax benefit. Turns out that meant I now owned half. He tried to laugh it off. Said, "What are you going to do with a 2-bedroom in Atlanta?" I told him, rent it to healers, since I was done housing liars. He didn't respond. And with every no reply and every silent signature I gave, I saw it hit him. The woman he expected to crawl back barefoot in a blanket had become someone his ego couldn't predict. I didn't shout. I didn't key cars. I didn't light anything on fire. I just walked forward. And silence. It followed me louder than any scream could echo. News got around. His friends asked him why his wife vanished so fast. Why she smiled when she delivered $1,400 worth of vacation gear he forgot was on her personal card. Funny how they didn't remember the night he screamed at me. But now they all saw the woman I became. You see, I didn't win. I reclaimed. Big difference. My peace, unshakable. My nights, quiet. My name, still mine, still whispered in boardrooms he no longer gets access to. And when I lay down now, I don't ask why me anymore. I ask what's next. And that answer always tastes like freedom. Because the night he threw me out was not the night I broke. It was the night I woke up. If you've ever loved someone through their pain, If you've ever stood tall for someone who felt too small to fight, then you already know. Sometimes karma isn't a thing that comes later. Sometimes it shows up wearing the same face as the woman he thought he broke. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to hear more stories like this. Because even in silence, the truth has a voice.